And here, finally, is the annotation example that I have created, and we're going to just take a look. This is an excerpt from the novel Don Quixote, and it was written by Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra. Don Quixote is considered the first novel format book in the Western literary canon, and that is why it is important. You're not responsible for this on your test. However, it might be a bonus question. Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra was the first author to actually use the novel style form. Before that, authors were writing long epics or they were writing poems, different kinds of formats, but not the novel where you get about 300 pages start to close. So Don Quixote is credited with being the first novel format that we kind of base the modern novel on. Anyhow, let's take a look at this excerpt. This is about one sentence, the first sentence of the entire novel, and look how much information that we can get out of it. Here's my annotation system here. I have the basic default, who, what, when, where, why. I have vocabulary. I have characteristics and traits and character, who, because this is a work of fiction and I want to build a character profile. Right, so you can add different things to your annotation system based on what you're annotating for and what your goals and your purpose actually are. So let's take a look. Nearly 400 years ago, that tells me when, so I'm going to highlight that. Sometimes we have questions with our annotations, and you can make a note, okay? My question here is 400 years ago from when? 400 years ago from today, 400 years ago from when Cervantes published Don Quixote, 400 years ago from some time that Cervantes is going to establish later in the narrative. We don't know that. So that's a question that you could write also in your annotations. 400 years ago, there lived in the village of La Mancha in Spain. I've made that red because this is my where. Okay, I know where it is. An old gentleman, it's blue because that tells me who. This is the first reference that we have to our main character. What do we know about him just already? We know he's not young. We know where he lives. We know when he lived. Okay, what do we know about him? Characteristics, traits, that's coming up. So an old gentleman, a few worldly possessions, that means what? Does he have a lot of stuff, a little bit of stuff? Few worldly possessions means that he doesn't have a lot, but many books. So he doesn't have a lot of things, but he has a lot of books, many books. And he was given to hardy and adventurous way of life. He beguiled his spare time by reading the many tales of knight chivalry and knighthood that were in his possession. So this is a person that likes to spend his spare time reading. He likes adventures, things like that. We learned so much in just the first sentence. A lot of people might think it's just the opening sentence. There's not a lot of information, but when you close read, when you spend time with the text, when you annotate, you will see that you can get a lot from a little. There is a quizzes you are responsible for completing that will help you to practice and remember the basic facts of annotation.